Hello, everyone. Welcome to my 2026 NBA Playoff Predictions. I know I'm a little late on this, but I didn't have the time to start this before the playoffs started, so I'm starting them now. Starting out west, we got the Thunder and the Suns playing each other, and I think this is probably going to be the most confident I can say that this is going to be a sweep. The Suns are just no match for the Thunder, and um, yeah, I think it's pretty easy to say the Thunder are going to easily beat the Suns, and I don't think the Suns are going to get a game in this series. Then we move to the Lakers and the Rockets, where the Lakers are already up 1-0 after a great effort by their whole team. Um, I didn't expect KD to be out with an injury for the Rockets when I made this pick, but I picked the Rockets to move on to beat the Lakers because the Lakers are without Luka and Austin Reeves, and I thought the Rockets would be healthy minus Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet, but no, they're without KD now. Hopefully for the Rockets, he's back because um, if the Rockets don't have KD, it's pretty clear that they're in trouble. But I do have the Rockets going through. Am I going to regret this? Maybe. Then we have the series that I think is going to go 7 games. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves. I feel like it's going to be just as 2024, um, where the Timberwolves won that series in 7. The only difference is the Timberwolves have a different team. They have Iota Sumu now instead of Mike Conley. They have Julius Randle now instead of Carl Anthony Towns. Um, and DiVincenzo now. But I think this is going to be a 7 game series. The Nuggets, they do have a few differences. Jamal Murray's playing the best basketball of his career. Michael Porter Jr. is gone, and it's Cam Johnson now in there, as well as a revamped bench for the Nuggets. And there's one thing that I think is going to make the Nuggets. Sorry, really tired. It's early in the morning. That I think is going to make the Nuggets beat the Timberwolves, and that is that there are times where we all know that Julius Randle is not the greatest playoff performer. I think that's going to happen again. I think that's going to happen in Game 7 of this series because I feel pretty confident that the series is going 7. And I think the Nuggets are going to key into shutting down Randall because Anthony Edwards, he's going to get his 30, 40 every night. We all know that. Unless he doesn't. But if the Nuggets can key in and stop Randall, and if sorry, Nikola Jokic can play better, I mean, he still almost had a triple double. He just needs to, I think, in my opinion, score more in order for the Nuggets to win, obviously, because they lost by, 5 points tonight? I'm filming this after game 2 of their series where Minnesota just beat them on the road. But yeah, I think the Nuggets are going to beat the Timberwolves in 7. Also, I think having home court advantage for that Game 7 game will also play a big factor in that win. Then we got the Spurs taking on the Trailblazers. The Spurs are already ahead 1-0, and yeah, I think this is gonna be a sweep. The Trailblazers, they can hang with the Spurs, but they could beat the Spurs. They could get a game. I don't think they will, but they could win a game, especially at home. They just need their offense to not just run through Denny. They need a second scorer, um, because it was just the Denny show in game one, and there was nobody else to help him. And then for the Spurs, you got Wemby. De'Aaron Fox had a quiet night in game one. Um, he had a good first half, but the second half he was quiet. I don't think he needed to do much. Devin Vassell was absolutely awesome in the third quarter, and just in the second half in general. It's like the Spurs, they have so many ways to beat you, and that's going to play into a really great effect getting down toward the end of the season. Obviously, if they can stay healthy. But yeah, I got the Spurs sweeping the Trailblazers here. Now we'll go to the East, um, where we got the Pistons and the Magic. And I honestly thought the Pistons were going to sweep the Magic. I thought they were going to sweep the Magic, and I was wrong. The Magic got a game. They won game one. Um, I still think the Pistons are going to win the series in six over the Magic. But the Magic are going to be a tough out. That's what it looked like. Um, After their game one win, I mean, the Magic, they were a team effort. There was no like one guy who dominated. It was everybody doing their part. And that's how they beat the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons, the Magic shut them down. Like, they shut everybody down on the Pistons team besides Cade. Besides Cade. If the Magic can do that for 4 games, they can win the series. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But is there a possibility? I mean, they did it in game one, so why not? Especially on the road, too. That was a really impressive win. But I still think the Pistons are going to win the series. Um, will I live to regret that pick? Maybe. Maybe. Um, Here's one pick that I'm definitely going to regret. The Cavs and the Raptors. And the Raptors beat the Cavs every single game they play against each other in the regular season, but I don't think the Cavs had Harden, Schroeder, or Ellis on their team. And I didn't take that into effect when I made this pick because I thought the Raptors matched up very well to the Cavs. And I thought the series would go 7 games. And I thought, kind of like with the Julius Randle thing, I thought James Harden would have a stinker in the game 7. Again, just like he did last year with the Clippers. But James Harden doesn't really need to do much, although he has had a great start to the playoffs, as well as Donovan Mitchell. And in tonight's game, Evan Mobley had a big game as well. But I thought the Raptors had a better matchup against the Cavs, and I thought they could beat them with defense from Scotty and Brandon Ingram having really big games, as well as R.J. Barrett, Jamal Shedd, and others. And I thought the Raptors would beat the Cavs in 7, but it looks like the Raptors are going to get swept, so I think I'm going to regret that. Then we got another really good series. We got the Knicks and the Hawks, which is tied at 1-1 right now. I picked the Knicks to win this series, and I'll explain why. Um, I think this series is going to go 7 games, but here's where I think the Knicks are going to beat the Hawks. They have Jalen Brunson. Brunson in the clutch is one of the best players in the league. He really gets whatever bucket he wants when it gets down to it, to winning time in the fourth quarter. Um, and also another thing is chemistry. The Knicks have been together as this version of the Knicks for this is year two, yeah, year two of this team. But the Hawks, they haven't even been together for a year with the current team that they have. So that's the reason why. I mean, they had a great win tonight. Atlanta did, coming back and beating the Knicks. But I think the Knicks are gonna pull through and win the series. Then we got the Celtics taking on the Sixers, and I feel like a broken record here, but I think this is gonna be a sweep. The Sixers without Joel Embiid are in trouble. Like I mean, Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, they're a really great duo, but they can't do it alone. And facing this really tough Celtics team, it's a tall order for them to win the series, and it might be a tall order for them to win a game in the series as well. So, yeah, I got the Celtics moving on. Now let's move to round two, where I got the Thunder taking on the Rockets, and I think the Thunder crowd's gonna be rocking as there's an opportunity to beat KD, who we all know left the Thunder to go to the Warriors back in what, a decade now? And I think Paycom Center, when they're playing there, is going to be rocking. And I don't know, I just think the Thunder overpower the Rockets. And I think the Thunder, they're going to gentlemen sweep the Rockets. The Rockets will get one game at home, but that's it. And then we head to what might be the NBA Finals. Honestly, I honestly think whoever wins this series could go all the way. The Nuggets against the Spurs, and this will be a seven-game series. These two teams, whenever they play each other, even when the stars were out, were locked together. They were close. It was locked together by the hips. It was close. Every single game, no matter who was not playing, who was not playing, didn't matter. Game was close, and oh, I just think I think yeah, it'll be a seven-game series. Who do I think is going to win? The Nuggets, they're a great team. The Spurs, they're a great team. But after seeing what the Frostbank Center, their crowd, their arena, like they were, just how great the fan base, how energetic the fan base of the Spurs were. Like the Nuggets the crowd tonight, like they were in the game, but I don't know. It's just the Spurs and the Thunder. Their fans get into the game, like their atmospheres in their stadiums, or they're just one of one. Like no one can replicate it, and the Spurs I think will feed off the energy from the crowd in Game Seven to pull through to beat the Nuggets at home and advance to the Western Conference Finals. So I got the Thunder and the Spurs um, as the Western Conference Finals. And now we'll go to the East, where the Pistons will play the Raptors, and um, yeah, the Pistons, I believe, overpower the Raptors, and even though I think the Raptors will get a game, barely, barely, maybe one. They'll sneak in Canada. They're not winning. They would not win this series if this happens. I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, the Pistons move to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then we got a rematch. The Celtics play the Knicks. Second round, just like last year, rivalry renewed, and it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. Hopefully, no one gets hurt this time. Looking at you, Jason Tatum. Speaking of Jason Tatum, he's going to be the reason why the Celtics win the series because obviously, as a competitor, he'll want revenge for what happened one calendar year ago where he tore his Achilles against the Knicks. And, honestly, I think he would agree with me if he was here with me. Obviously, he won't be, and I will probably never get to talk to Jason Tatum. Just being real here. But if he was here, he would probably say the same thing that I just said. And I think Jason Tatum will play with a chip on his shoulder. He'll play knowing what happened. And I think he'll go and make the Knicks pay. And I think he will lead the way into the Celtics being the Knicks to go to the Eastern Conference Finals in the 6-game series. And I think Jason Tatum's going to be the guy for Boston in that series if it does happen. So, the conference finals, the Spurs against the Thunder, which we all know in the regular season, the Spurs dominated the Thunder. Both of these teams do match up against each other pretty well. I think the Spurs do have the advantage because they have Victor Wembanyama on their team, and he's just a freak. And I don't know, just the Thunder, they just can't seem to figure out the Spurs now that the Spurs are this incredible basketball team. Like the Spurs are incredible. You can't deny them anymore. Wemby, Fox, Vassell, Castle, Champagny. That's a beautiful five, especially when you got Kelvin coming off the bench, Dylan Harper, and others. These Spurs, they are a championship team, and I honestly think that this Western Conference Finals, if it does happen, will not be close. I think the Spurs beat the Thunder in 5 to go to the finals. I think Wemby is going to lead the Spurs back to their first finals since 2014 when Kawhi, Duncan, Coach Popovich, Parker, Ginobili, Tiago Splitter were on the team. Shout out Tiago Splitter, who's now coaching against the Spurs in the playoffs as the Blazers head coach. What an interesting timeline. And then the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics taking on the Pistons. And this will be a 7-game series. These two teams are really good. These two teams, whenever they play fantastic basketball games. But I think the Celtics, in the end, will be able to pull it out because there are times where the Pistons the Pistons offense relies on Cade way too much, where he's the only guy putting the ball through the basket. And for the Celtics, I'm just being honest, I haven't seen that in a long time. Like, it could be Jaylen Brown, it could be Jason Tatum, it could be Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Baylor Shireman, um, Sam Hauser, Nemus Keita, Luca Garza. It could be anybody, it seems like. And that to me, the Celtics' depth and the possibility of them just getting a different breakout scorer every game tells me that the Celtics are going to go to the finals again. And I believe the finals this year will be Spurs, Celtics. Spurs, Celtics. If this happens, this would be a really fun series. I don't remember any Spurs Celtics games this year. I'm sure they did play each other, but I just don't remember it. Probably because I didn't call the game, because normally the games I call I remember more than the games I didn't call. But yeah, I would be really excited for the Spurs Celtics um, finals. Um, but I believe the key to the Spurs winning the championship is how Victor Wembanyama plays. And by what I saw in game one last night and what I've seen throughout the entire year, I think he'll be an unstoppable force through the entire playoffs. And then De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, and company will just be able to feed off his energy. And they'll also feed off the crowd's energy. Obviously, Boston's a tough place to play in, but I think the Spurs, they can handle that stadium well. And I think this series would go six if it's Spurs Celtics. And my 2025-26 NBA champion this year is the San Antonio Spurs. I think the Spurs get it done. Victor Wembanyama's first ring. He's Finals MVP. De'Aaron Fox. Everybody gets their first ring besides Harrison Barnes. And yeah, I'd be here for a Spurs Finals win. I honestly think that's where we're going. They were the best team in the entire association the second half of the year, and I don't think that's stopping any time soon. So that's my 2026 NBA playoff predictions. Spurs beat the Celtics in the finals. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. See you later. RV out. Peace.